we live in a world of dog eats dog, and survival of the fittest capitalist, for the opposite is true. We must actually stop this everyone for themselves system that is perpetuated and maintained by the capitalist system and the sinful union between big business, the bourgeoisie, and the government. We will continue to suffer and die unnecessarily due to our global ignorance if we do not transform our thinking and perception of others in a positive manner. The egotistical tendencies and corrupt nature of capitalism and classicism causes the ensuing social pillage that result from any system that can be paralleled or linked to survival of the fittest. Surely this inherently primitive thought is what has led to the social manifestation of capitalism. We all form part of a family, group and nation, and must stay aware of our full reality, position and most importantly our contribution and obligation to the wholes that we are part of, especially that of humanity. Being aware of our past and present in each circle and subcircle gives us an illuminated bird's-eye view of our role and position in each circle. As we stop thinking about ourselves and instead give paramount priority to humanity as a whole, we broaden our mental horizons, cares and concerns, and in turn, we expand our personal and group capabilities. A domino effect of positive transformation is set in motion as each individual becomes aware and consciously involved in progress for all. Unity is a vital variable in the equation of progress, personal and group. Although you may know what the righteous thing for you to do as a godly act for the good of humankind, fear is the one factor, variable that can cause you to falter in decision. Fear can creep in if your love for humanity is not more powerful than the love for yourself. Humankind has long ago taken the mental leap in evolutionary consciousness, in acquiring the wisdom of knowing the power and worth of unity, cooperation and equality. So, why are we a society of inequality, exploitation, separation, war and suffering? It is not the lack of human evolutionary thought as a whole, but simply the hindrance of social misinformation and misdirection of the human psyche, by a few, to maintain a system of hierarchy and control of the majority world. All humans are obligated, not only by local group kinship but most importantly by the evolutionary kinship that we all share as human beings, regardless of our minute differences. The one factor that we all do have in common, humanity, will always supersede the trivialness of the minor details that make us uniquely different to each other. The connections that we all share is tremendous and profoundly relevant to our collective existence. Some have mental barriers that limit their associations with outer circles and connections to other bigger wholes. Many are not aware of their connections to the other wholes they form part of and never realize their obligations to the whole of the family over self, community over family, nation over community, world over nation and a future over present. Community organization is that process by which the people organize themselves to take charge of their situation and thus develop a sense of being a community together. It is a particularly effective tool for the poor and powerless as they determine for themselves the actions they will take to deal with the essential forces that are destroying their community and consequently causing them to be powerless. There is no community, so there is no unity, and so, most people are on their own, especially if in a community of other poor people. The learned, capitalist tendency of survival of the fittest is the biggest problem amongst all oppressed people across the world. If we look at the communities, nations across the world that were able to overthrow their oppressors and colonizers, for however short of a period, it was usually made possible with complete unity. Only with unity can anything grand be accomplished. The old saying, one for all and all for one, will always stand true. We must all unite, and in this way, we all will benefit, progress and achieve peace and utopia. From revolutionaries all across the world who offer their bravery, sweat, blood and ultimately, their lives for the good of humankind, to someone speaking up for justice, like a unionizer or activist for simple human rights of survival and determination, all are budges against this worldwide system of senseless violence, suffering and exploitation, etc. We just have to all budge at the same time and at strategic positions. There are little budges going on all over the world trying to bury the one big oppressive giant, but what we lack is unity and strategic synchronization and complementation of worldwide revolutionary actions. We are all part of a human chain, and when we forget this, we become selfish or individualistic. Humans cannot continue to be individualistic, for the whole becomes weak. It would be so simple and efficient if we just unite and begin cooperation on a worldwide level and institute a cooperative, communal resource-based system, where there is no more privatization, rent, bills or fees for anything, especially vital needs like food, energy, water and healthcare. We need to do away with the vessel of evil that causes the most hell, the capitalist system. We must strike at the root of what puts us in economic and cultural competition and wars of survival and separatism. We must stop using money and just share, which would immediately shut down the systems of social control and inequality. The shortest distance between 2 points is a direct line, and so the shortest and best route to heaven on earth or utopia is also a direct line. This can be applied to the social dilemma in which we find ourselves as a whole, here on earth, with imperial, capitalist worldwide oppression, suffering and death. This is especially important to the struggles that seek to free humankind from the evils of man that cause this massive and unnecessary hell. So if we are at the present, point 1, and we wish to be at another point, a better point, in actuality the future, point 2, we should in effect just draw a direct line. The key lies in drawing a direct line, which means just going there by simply manifesting the actions and reality of life at point 2 and we immediately create that seemingly impossible dream, goal of utopia, heaven on earth. This can be achieved only if we collectively realize it. The critical question is deciding what point 2 should be. The answer is simply heaven or utopia. If we are in hell, we need to be in heaven, so that should be our only goal. Most importantly, it should be an immediate goal, not one that will be accomplished one of these days, or more like one of these years or even centuries, if the current strategies of asking for crumbs from corrupt governments and regimes still persists. Protest after protest, sit-in after sit-in, strike after strike, year after year, decade after decade, death after death, famine after famine, genocide after genocide. Yet too many social movements continue to ask for crumbs instead of demanding and taking the whole loaf that is rightfully ours, yours. But of course, if there is no unity amongst the people, locally, nationally or internationally, there will surely be lack of a one-world vision and goal for the complete liberation of humankind from the grips of exploitation and capitalism. Drawing a direct line means that we go directly to point 2 by just living and operating as if we were at point 2. The key is doing this without permission or crumbs from our corrupt civil and public servants, government, and without the bureaucratic red tape, which is draped with corruption, greed and classicism. We go to point 2 by simply living as we know we would, how we know we could, and most vitally, how we know we should. This will immediately create the necessary conditions for the change we seek. Our best goal is to aim for heaven on earth right now. The best way to accomplish this and at the same time sever the tentacles of capitalism is for us to live as if we had heaven on earth, to in turn create it by simply living it. In this human struggle, to aim for anything but utopia, we lose the truly epic battle for humanity and we jeopardize the future of all generations to come.